Revit has a very good tool for creating a ramp between the different levels in a parking garage. The surprising thing, though, is that it isn't Revit's ramp tool. The ramp tool we'll find works really well for such things as pedestrian traffic. But once you start talking about the structures involved in a parking garage, there's another tool that does a much better job, and it's just your typical Revit floor. Let's take a look at how that works. Underneath the Architecture tab, we want to draw a floor. And currently we're on the Level 2 floor plan so that we can see between Level 2 and Level 1. So select on Floor. In this case, I'm just going to use the generic 12-inch floor. We could use really anything that would make sense for the structure of a parking garage, but in this case, I'm keeping it simple and just using the generic 12-inch floor. From here, I'm going to use the Line tool and then pick a spot right here in the midpoint of this line. And now I want to draw in a rectangular shape that will be the ramp between the second and first floors. Before I click the green check mark, there's one other thing that we need to do. Right now, it's just going to be a flat floor going from the second level all the way on across with a big drop off down to 1. To have it slope, we need to attach a slope arrow to it. In this case, I'm going to pick this midpoint of this purple line and now draw the slope arrow straight over to the midpoint of the other purple line. Underneath properties, we can see it says height at tail. Well, what I'd like to do is make sure that the height at the one end is 0 feet 0 inches off of the level. But at the other end, we're going to make it be negative 9 feet, which means go down 9 feet in this direction. Once we've done that, we can click on the big green check mark. And now we have a floor that slopes down from here down 9 feet. The next thing I'd like to do is go into the project browser here, and then I'll go to my level 3 view. And now we can see level 3 as well as the level 2 that we were just working with. From here, we want to do the same process. Once again, Architecture tab, Floor, the Line tool, start to draw in where you want this floor to go. In this case, I'm once again going to go down to the midpoint and then close it off. Then we select on the slope arrow, pick the midpoint, go straight over to the next midpoint. Then under the properties, we change this to be 0 and then negative 9 feet. Now let me emphasize that again. It needs to be negative. If it's a positive number, it's going to go up instead of down. From here, we click on the big green check mark. And now let's take a look at what we've drawn so far in between the levels. And to do this, we can either go into an elevation view, or what I'm going to do is highlight on this 3D view icon and click on it so that we can see this in 3D. We can see in this view the smooth transition between the ramps and the individual levels. Also, if we click here on the view cube where it says front, we can now see it's coming up, cleaning up, coming up again, and then tying in to the next floor. Now, we could continue this process all the way on up, but there's another way that we can do it because the same floor-to-floor height is true between this level and this level and this level. To do this, I'm going to click out here in space and hold my mouse button down, and now let go once I have this crossing window that selects both of these two ramps or floors that I just created. Next, come up here and select on this, which is Copy the Clipboard. This is not the Copy tool, this is Copy to Clipboard. Once you execute that, Paste becomes available and you want to select on the words Paste. There's an option 2 down that says Align the selected levels. When you do, select Level 4. The reason why we're picking level 4 is that that first one that we copied down was based on level 2. The next one that we drew up was also based on level 2. So we're copying both of these from level 2 up to level 4. If you click on OK to that, you'll now see that your ramps have now been copied up to the correct locations. And to see that a little bit better, if we click over here in the corner of the view cube, we can spin it around. And now we can see that ramp leading between the two different levels of the parking garage. So to create a ramp in a parking lot or a parking garage kind of condition, all you need to do is use a floor and then assign a slope arrow to it, then specify the height at each end of the slope arrow to give it that slope between each floor.